Don'ts of tongue. Our words should not be rigid and rough so that they will hurt people. They should not be disrespectful and prideful toward others. Our words should not be selfish and jealous. It should not be with hating, murmurings, blamings, and judging. Because these are the weapons of Satan, which lead us into non-righteous personalities in the sight of God's presence. So we should not talk like that. Of course, the people who hate us, we must love them. Although the people who think and talk selfishly, we have to give them the best we can so that they can benefit from us. We should not murmur toward them, but we have to bear them with a lovely smile. We should not be jealous toward the people. We have to strive for respect and love toward the people. We have to strive to make them successful in all good things. We have to help them for their success, but should not be jealous about their success and fame. We should not be angry toward anyone in unnecessary things. We should always be smooth. We may get angry, but make sure that your anger should not cross God's law. We should not cross God's commandments. Our anger should not lead us to take wrong judgments and wrong comments. Our words should not be with partiality or familiarity, because these will make others sad, hurt, and cry. Moreover, that is against God's law. We should always think, talk, and act towards people with equality. This partiality or familiarity bases the individual person's richness, job, beauty, fame, dressing and living style, skills and loves, respects, honors them with partiality or familiarity. That loves, respects, honors more to some specified people and less to some specified people, which is not in the truth love and thanksgiving, and it is crossing God's law, because it does only what it likes. It should not think or obey God's plan, God's law, and God's love anymore, but thinking about their own comforts, own desires that are associated with worldly things. So partiality or familiarity is against God. It is not encouraged anymore. Our words should not be such that those are blaming people unnecessarily. Our words should not be like that, disrespecting, rejecting, avoiding, and neglecting them unnecessarily. You should have to respect them, love them, although they did wrongs, mistakes, or sins towards you or towards anyone. Sometimes we may reject, avoid, or neglect inappropriate situations, but we should never cross God's law, His commandments. We have to show the love and grace toward them all in all the necessary situations. We have to be thankful and be honest towards the people. We should not intend to hurt or blame anyone unnecessarily. Of course, they hurt you, blame you, unnecessarily, but you should not be like that. Always show the love and grace toward them all in all the necessary situations. Always we have to be intended to love and show grace towards the people only, but in some necessary situations, for the sake of correcting their mistakes or sins, we may hurt them, we may avoid them, we may neglect them, we may reject them, but these should be with love only. And those should be for a short period of time only. Those should have to be limited. In my opinion, generally, those boundaries are that the victims should not cry more than 3 times. The victims should not be made to harm themselves in any way. The victim's thoughts should not bring them to deeper sadness and loneliness for more than the limit that the victim can bear. The victims have to be accepted and loved by you at a particular stage or limit, although they may not have been corrected sometimes. Because if you reject, avoid, or neglect them at a particular stage, they will hate you, blame you, and think of you as a cruel person. Yes, man, that's true in God's side. You should not be cruel towards anyone. You must be a source of love, grace, and forgiveness. You should also be a piece of the source of hurting, avoiding, and neglecting toward the people subjected to the condition that they have to be corrected with love. But you should not hurt them, avoid them, or neglect them intentionally with your ego, hatred, selfishness, anger, and cruelty. The other thing is, if yet you are not accepting and loving them, for a longer term, their heart may not bear the weight of your cruelty if they are loving you. Then they will definitely try to harm themselves. Some may try for suicide, some will lose all their goals and future due to their thoughts about their love and good deeds towards you and your cruelty towards them. Some may feel their life much harder without your love and friendship. Some go into a deeper sadness and loneliness for days, months, years, and maybe throughout their life. So my dear son, cruelty is not recommended after a certain stage comes. We should not intend to hurt or blame anyone unnecessarily. We should not use the words related to sex, sexual interaction, sexual content, sexual affection, sexual emotions, sexual enjoyment, worldly love affairs, etc. Our words should always be holy. We should not take the words that are disobeying the elders, youngers, and children in all the necessary things. Although they are younger than us, we have to obey them in all the good things, in all the necessary things, to love them, to satisfy their needs, to follow the goodness of God. In the case of elders, make sure that you always have to obey them in all the good things and necessary things, to love them, to respect them, to follow the goodness of God. Obeying may reduce our value in front of the people, but it is proof of our ethical and moral values in front of God. Obeying is the good nature of love towards the one, and it is a sign of our maturity in God's love and God's righteousness. So be obedient to God and people in all the good things, in all the necessary things, in all the righteous things, even if they are children, youngers, or the people whom you don't like. That's the maturity in God's righteousness and His goodness. Our words should not be like that, not trusting the true emotions, emotional good touches, and true feelings of the people, like loving hugs and puppies, kisses, keeping the hand on their shoulders, and many more good touches with love. We have to trust them, have to understand their good things and have to love them accordingly. Our words should not be like that, not trusting the true cries and tears of the people, because these will hurt them much, who are really loving us. So we should not hurt the people by not trusting their good things, their love, their true cries and tears towards us. It is more dangerous, because the other people will feel unloved, feel sad and cry, and try to harm themselves, because they are loving you much. So don't hurt them, my son. Our words should not be like that, fulfilling our revenge, our anger, hating, our cruelty, and our thought of harming them. Because revenge is against the forgiving nature. It is against God's commandments and laws. It is against God's love and truth. We should not talk the words which are making bad one person in front of another person, even if they did wrong, because it is against love. We have to cover their sins in front of people by our love, but we may request, warn, or advise them personally. We should not murmur bad about any person in front of them, within ourselves, or with other people. We may discuss things with people in a good way, without the intention of making one bad in front of other people. But we should not discuss all the things. That is wrong. Only a few things are allowed. We should not discuss their bad personal life in front of people. Be careful. Don't be like a fool. We should not be intended to frame one person as bad in front of people. Try to respect and love one person in front of people always. That is love. Be with wisdom. Act accordingly. We should not consider that our opinions, our thoughts, our words and deeds are always right. We should not be one-way thinking-minded. We have to consider other person's thoughts, opinions, words and deeds also in account to finalize the decisions and judgments. Because we may be wrong sometimes. The other people may be thinking right sometimes. So be careful in taking the right decisions and right judgments towards people. Our words should not be like those that will destroy the good relationship between two people due to our foolishness, ego, selfishness, and jealousy. Instead, use words that will build good relationships, love, and peace between people. We should not lie about ourselves. We should not lie about anyone in front of people, and we should not be a witness to a lying person. We should always be a peacemaker, a love builder, a good relation builder, and a good advisor to all people in all situations. But we should not be a destroyer. Our words should never make someone's respect or value fall down in front of people or in front of us. Our words should never make someone's ethical and moral values fall down. Our tone of words should not be such that it overcrosses or undercrosses the real intention of our words. The two have to meet exactly so that people will be able to understand us more efficiently. Otherwise, they will misunderstand us, and our good relations may be broken. Stop scolding people. Stop rejecting, avoiding, neglecting, and throwing people away from you in all the necessary and good things or situations. Have patience, forgiveness, and love upon them. Bear them as much as possible.